This is the Tokenomist.
Hey, what's happening? It's been a while, hasn't it? So I'm the Tokenomist and I'm back, and I thought I made a few videos recently. I was being busy in my world, busy in my life. I've been getting quite deep into the NFT space, which is very strange given that my kind of main premise is I talk about value investment or understanding how to value projects before you get involved. So I thought I'd run a stream. I thought I'd run give a stream a go. It was my first one I've ever done a stream. So let's see how that works. What I wanted to talk about was what I've actually been doing since I've been away. I've been on holiday and I've been working pretty hard as well. But I've been going pretty deep into the NFT space, which is quite strange for those people who aren't yet kind of sold on the idea of NFTs. I've been sold on the idea of NFTs for quite a while as a premise, but like a lot of people who used to talk about Bitcoin years ago, they'd go, "Oh, I think cryptocurrency is gonna change the world, but I don't know if it's gonna be Bitcoin." It's like, okay, well, you don't know anything about cryptocurrency, and you're just saying that blanket phrase. So why wouldn't it be Bitcoin? Why wouldn't it be the particular coin now? But that's that. And NFTs, I've also been very much in the old game. Why wouldn't I just do right click, save? And I didn't fully get it. And now I think I do get some things. I thought I would spend some time talking about that. Also talking about what I've been doing. So I've been getting involved into Fantom, the token, which is a sort of a blockchain. It's not sort of a blockchain, it is a blockchain. I've been getting involved into Sushiswap, which I was involved before. I've gone in quite a lot more recently, and I'm going to explain what's been going on with Sushiswap. And I've also been getting involved with some NFT projects. One of those in particular was Cryptodads. I'm full bias alert, full shield zone. I do really enjoy the project. It wasn't the first NFT I bought. I have bought a couple more beforehand. I was having a little dabble, having a little play around, see how it all works, trying to use the MetaMask wallet because I've been one of those corporate cuck or whatever. I've been using a lot. I like Gemini as a wallet. I think it's good. It's just easy, and I kind of trust my money's going to be there, providing I don't know, I just think it's going to be there, and I'm sure there's loads of reasons why I shouldn't be saying that, but I do quite like that just from the user experience. I've been using the FTXs as well, actually, which is really nice. I used to use FTXs. It was called Blockfolio, and I used to use it as a really good kind of like a portfolio tracker, and I've been using it as well to buy bits and bobs because it's quite cheap, particularly for Solana based stuff. But that's it really. So I've been using MetaMask a lot more, been learning with the NFTs. So I'm going to quickly go through what's been going on in the world. Now this is the GMT stream. This is what we're going to be doing. This is going to be UK mornings. Now why am I doing this? Because there's a ton of video streams that come out every single day. I'm going to put my light on actually, make it a little bit, we'll get the light on. A bit better. Okay, I'm in my less salubrious surroundings. And actually, the reason why I should be into NFTs is, look at this. This is a real piece of art. This is Black Lorat. This is a very rare piece from Black Lorat. For those of you who like street art will know who Black Lorat is. He's someone that Banksy once said whenever he thinks he's come up with an idea, he finds out Black Lorat's done one before. I actually have quite a bit of art hovering around. Here's another one. This is a small little piece. NFT, shiny. See the reflection on my garden. This is an NFT. This is come in big format. If you want an NFT, where am I going with this one? Right, lights on. Let's talk about some stuff. So, UK, it's Monday, 4th of October. I'm got a little man under there just patting his head. It's Monday the 4th of October. So what's been going on in the market? So the Evergrande crisis hasn't fully gone away. One of the biggest problems I see is a lot of YouTube channels talk about cryptocurrency and they talk it within an insulated environment. Actually, we've got to look at it at a broader spectrum. 70% of all trades, broadly speaking, within the cryptocurrency market are led by institutions or certainly hedge funds and big traders, kind of people with a lot of dough in their pocket. And they are looking at a bigger picture. They've got a much broader perspective when it comes to investments. They're not all just, as like Raoul Powell is irresponsibly long Bitcoin. Well, he's not irresponsibly long Bitcoin anymore. He's now irresponsibly long Solana and Ethereum, and he's just dallying away, whatever. So let's take a look at that. Let's have a quick think of what's going on out there. So overnight, we're still seeing Evergrande have kind of gone quiet. They're supposed to be paying some lending back. They're struggling to sell off assets. So this, for those of you who don't know what's going on out there, this is a big Chinese real estate investment firm worth about $300 billion. In China, buying real estate is a commonly encouraged form of investment, and so the big concern is if this does continue to spiral out, it can cause political contagion as well. So what are they going to do in China? Are the government going to start printing money which causes inflation, or are they going to send people to political re-education camps and teach them the value of good old communism again? Who knows? That being said, phrases that all YouTubers use is the phrase "that being said." It's a very good phrase, actually. That being said, it still hasn't fixed itself. So we kind of last week everything was amazing. A lot of people going, oh, I wonder why the Bitcoin's bouncing up again. Well, it's because someone who is the institutions influencer, Plan B, was right again. Although it wasn't the stock to flow, it was the on-chain metrics, but he was right again, which given the market a hell of a lot of buoyancy. So that has happened. There was talk that the Evergrande thing had been kind of fixed. There's a statement by I keep on saying Ben Bernanke, and it's not Janet Yellen. My God, how can I talk about finance and Jerome Powell? Christ, show my age, 39. Not going to ban Bitcoin, not going to ban crypto. Even actually caveated a previous comment he said actually when I said about us sort of certain cryptos weren't going to be the way, I'm aware that a CBDC is a cryptocurrency. I've kind of context stated him here there. I think that's a phrase. So he didn't say exactly those words, but that will work. Anyway, so things have been pretty buoyant, but we've forgotten that Evergrande is that elephant in the room that hasn't resolved itself, and it could still come back. It's why in the UK we've still seen supply chain issues hovering around. We're seeing significant supply chain issues, and it's going to be now as well, isn't it? Really, it's going to be now the supply chain issues for the big Christmas rush or the holidays purchases. That's still hovering around. Furloughs ended in the UK as of last week, so there's a concern that a lot of companies are going to they might sort of carry on for a month, pay their wages, but then there's going to be a massive deluge of redundancies. What's going to be the impact on spending power, consumer spending? If consumer spending slows down, how does the government get themselves out of that hole when they know only one single rule, and that is push button for money printing? So I think there's going to be this kind of yo-yo effect, but that's what's kind of going on in the wider picture. AJ Bell, stockbrokers in the UK, have said dividends are set to rise faster or back to pre-pandemic levels, thereabouts, which is good, which means people might be putting more money back into the equity market, more of an risk-on approach if equities is risk-on. In the US, we've seen the Nasdaq down significantly at open. I normally will try and do these videos before that actually happens. The Nasdaq, I'll be talking about futures. Dow futures is pretty flat. So we've got a bit of a wobbly area. We've got Alibaba has share prices up 6% this morning. In America, so this morning, it's kind of afternoon in the UK, and I'm trying to nail this before my son comes through the front door. Son, I guess dropped off by his childminder. So it's still an uncertain market, which is probably why we're seeing Bitcoin kind of hobbling around. And people often say, oh, is Ethereum going to decouple from Bitcoin? Is altcoins going to decouple from Bitcoin? What they actually fail is Bitcoin is just very easily moved by macroeconomics. Ethereum isn't attached to Bitcoin. Ethereum is attached to the same financial news and the same human behavior that Bitcoin is. It has a few other things as well, as do all the altcoins underneath it. But if you've got 70% of funds are institutions, now very, very tiny cryptocurrencies, I get it, no, obviously not. But if you're taking a general broad across your portfolio risk off strategy, bear in my background is I used to be a stockbroker. I used to manage investment portfolios in the equities market for investors. I was based out in the Square Mile of London, up the Square Mile, just up the road from where I am. And there'll be times where certain investors will reduce their exposure to certain levels of systemic risk or just certain risks in general. It could be geopolitical risks or whatever, and it could be they move their portfolios more to safer housings like bonds or cash, safer, in terms of it's not going to change tomorrow. We know obviously with inflation, the value of a pound sterling or that small currency, the US dollar, will change over time. But anyway, so we see that. So if all of a sudden you are a fund and you're going, oh, actually I'm a bit concerned about some of my risky plays, I'm going to just temper it a little bit. I'm going to take my money off the table of the tech stocks and take my money off the table of the cryptocurrencies, and that could be Bitcoin, it could be a Canadian or a Swiss or a European fund that tracks a number of different cryptocurrencies. Pull the money out of that. That means then they've got to do redemptions and they've got to sell down their holdings. So all of those things have an effect on the market. It's not so much all of them are attached to Bitcoin, it's because Bitcoin is just a very big bellwether of the global economy, of what's going on with the global economy. It's not the pure bellwether, obviously, because it reacts to certain different things. But anyway, that's the point. So don't, if you'll go, oh, Bitcoin's just ruining my cryptocurrency. No, you just got a very, very tiny cryptocurrency that people are only speculating with when they're prepared to be very, very risky. Bitcoin is irrelevant to, ABC coin, Dick coin or whatever. Actually, I saw an NFT last night. Was it crypto dick butts. It was one of the top 10 rising cryptos. Anyway, so that's it. So that's that. That's what's going on. Things are a bit flat. Things are a bit wobbly. Let's jump on the screen. Let's go to my. I'm trying a little play around with my streaming software, trying to get smarter. So let's go to the screen sharing, and it's not there. Brilliant, great move. My Google Chrome's gone missing. We're going to jump on and have a quick look at the general market and actually get some look at why, as I said, why I've been buying into Sushiswap, why I've been buying into Fantom, why I've been buying into Cryptodads, and talk a little bit about some of these CFTs, the NFT projects I've been looking at, and just give my opinion. This is my opportunity to speak to the world. So we're just going to flip over to the useful screen, full browser. Let's get this up here. So I am going to try. I'm rubbish at this, by the way, so I'm not going to pretend I'm anything better than I am on this. Okay, right. Let's slide the screen in. Here we go. Right, so having a quick look at the crypto markets, we can see here today. Bitcoin's pretty flat, isn't it? 47,750. I'm not going to waste my time waffling all about that one. I've explained why the markets are doing this. I want to talk to you about Sushiswap. I want to talk to you about Fantom. So let's just have a quick look at Sushiswap. So Sushiswap, first of all, I did a video on this not so long ago. There's a link. I'll put that in the actual description beneath the notes. Now, Sushiswap seems to be one of those projects that kind of keeps its value at a fairly good peg. I think it's hugely undervalued. I think it's an interesting project from beyond just DeFi. It's now moving on to, they're working on this platform here called SUSHI, which is an NFT project. So this is a bit of an old article about a month ago, but there's a lot of talk about it's about to be announced. It's going to be live with the Kusama, the bridging chain. It is trying to attack the NFT marketplace, and I do think for those of you who've ever used OpenSea, has an awful lot of volume of business, but it's a nightmare to use. There's a lot of problems where people drop NFTs into your wallet. Let me just show you my own one. Probably might be a bad move. This might be where I end up getting hacked. So this is my own wallet. I've got it named as my business. Why not? Bit of free advertising. Get a little backlink there, and you'll see here I've hidden 4 NFTs. These have been dropped into my wallet randomly. My son saw them the other day and was like, "Oh, that's a nice shoe." They've got loads of favorites. They're all bullshit, and there's a scam where if you try and interact with this particular NFT and you open up your wallet to it, it can then just drain your wallet. So that's really scary, and there should be a way of this never happening. But that's OpenSea. It's still quite clunky. You want to keep an eye on what I'm actually buying. If you want to short NFTs, check out for your mind. I actually got these 4 of these the other day. These PugFrens. I didn't actually mean to buy 4 of them. I only meant to buy 1, just to have one, just to buy 1 of each. As soon as a new project comes out, if I like the graphics, I'll buy 1. You know, and there was a delay on the ordering process, and I just kept seeing another one just arrive. Boom, boom. I wasn't sure how many I'd ordered. It was 4 in the end. Could have easily been 8. Bastard penguins, tropical turtles, nifty league degens. These nuts, winter bears, paladin pandas, epic eagles. Cryptodads, sappy sea, whatever. So you can keep an eye on some of the things I'm looking at. But let's just go back. So Sushiswap, I did a video on it before. One of my key things is even when you look at the diluted market cap, it's 2.6 billion diluted market cap. I tend to look at that. That means if you account for all of the tokens in issue, that's the figure I'm interested in. It's the 2.6 billion. I'm not looking at the 1.3 billion. At its peak around about May time, we saw it go as high as, I think it was about $22. Now these are spikes, so when I see them go like that, I tend to think, okay, well, you know, they're just crazy spikes. They don't, perhaps, I mean, when I see them like that, I think they're probably just crazy spikes, and that's not a general average level that you want to necessarily look at. I tend to, I'm just going to split the screen so you can see my my blessed face as well. I tend to look at, so I'm going to try and show you my hands. So you can see on the actual chart there, you'll see there's these spikes, and that's when it hits at $22, $21. So I don't want you to think, oh, that's going to be the price. It's going to be, you know, that's the price it can get to. It could do. They were all-time highs with massive spikes. I would say generally cut a line through those and go 19, 18. That's probably an all-time high of sort of stability, of normality that you think, okay, that can get to. Now, we saw the big drop after the Elon Musk fight. It dropped down to about as low as, I think it was like 6 or 7 or 4. It went really, really low, but it tends to sit just underneath that kind of 9, 8.5, 9 on bad days. And I like that because it tells me that there's some intrinsic reason why people keep coming back to it. It could be use. Ultimately, if you own a token, the tokens entitle you to a share of the revenues of the platform if you stake them. So that means there is revenues going through it, and just like a business, there is ultimately an underlying intrinsic value of a business, or the dividend yield is going to end up being like 15-20%, and you're just going to be bought up loads and the dividend yield comes back down because people go, oh, that's a risk worth taking. A dividend yield is where you get a share of the profits, and that's what I'm looking at. I personally, and I don't know this completely, and I'm probably going to be completely wrong, but I have a feeling that the money may not be had in layer 1 blockchains. Now take Bitcoin out of the equation just because it works differently in terms of how it's being used at the moment. But things like Ethereum, when you use OpenSea, you have to keep using the chain to do very, very small, simple things that really shouldn't be charging you to do. So if you were to use, let's use eBay as an example. If I want to list my NFT for sale, I have to pay a fee to tell the blockchain that these are now for sale. And then when I sell it, OpenSea still charges me to sell it. So if you were to, best way to use it is like eBay, isn't it? So to list an item on eBay, it might charge you a small fee actually, or it might charge you a fee at the end when you sell something. But the internet doesn't charge you, and that's a problem that I think maybe I haven't got my head around it yet. I think there's too many charges. So how do you fix it? Well, you slash the cost massively and you become really, really cheap. And everyone right now will be going, Cardano's cheap, Solana's cheap, Helium's cheap, or whatever other random blockchain is. The problem with that is when it becomes really, really cheap, even at massive scale, the revenue isn't there to make it a worthwhile investment if you're getting a stake of that share. And having a very, very low security budget could answer the question, could ask a question is, how secure is it for big, big institutions? Now you might go, oh, it's really secure, it can't be hacked. Right, when you're dealing with an entire country's GDP, you can't just take the word of someone on YouTube in the comments. It has to be beyond all reasonable doubt, beyond all human doubt of security. And you can't hack the pound sterling in the Bank of England. You can challenge it in the money markets, but you can't hack it. And so I think, and the same with dollar, you can't hack the dollar. I mean, not that you need to. The money supply machine is just going all the time. So those things are something to really consider in terms of is layer 1 going to be the investment, or actually is it going to be the dApps? And now the dApps, people go, oh, Ethereum right now has got all the dApps on it, or Polygon, we've got all the dApps moving onto it. Great, but they're also going on to Moonriver and on the Kusama chain, and they're going to be operable on the Cardano chain, and they're going to be operable on the Solana chain. They don't care. Like Chainlink's going to be on all of them. It might be an ERC token now, but I mean, they're not going to. If you set up a dApp or a business, you're not going to want to take the gamble. Going, have I picked the right blockchain? It's hard enough of a risk setting up a business. If anyone's ever set up a business, having a business is risky. Yes, you have to make the right decision in terms of what street you pick and to put your shop on if it's a bricks and mortar store. But I mean, picking the right blockchain just seems a crazy level of risk for there not to seem a future of having interoperability. And I think that's where it's going to go. And I think we may see a bleed out of the values, or I don't know. I'm not an expert on that. Of course I'm not. So I like the dApps. Now, the concern at the moment has been, are DeFi dApps going to be classed as securities? And one of the beauties of SushiSwap is there's not a lot of details about them. The sushi chef is the founder. I think it's pretty much apparent that it's very decentralized in comparison to, say, Uniswap. And that makes it an interesting play. But what makes it really interesting is the fact that they are going to be looking in the NFT marketplace with things like show you. But the point I was getting back before was there seems to be a point where the price always seems to stabilize, and that's because it's got revenue going through it. And if it got to the point where your yield is going to be so high, or your staking percentage is going to be so high because no one's buying the token price is cheap, but it's still generating revenue, what happens is the token price becomes more expensive. And I did a whole mock-up of how you can value it in another video, which again will be in the link. So, and that's one of the reasons why I think Perp, anyone who's ever got involved in Perp token, it has these really high yields after a market dip, and then it just recovers really strong because people go, oh, massive yield, and then there's a point where that yield becomes less attractive, but it still remains attractive enough people to buy into it. So I've been buying more into that one. I like to buy it under $10. I happened to have a property sale recently, and I just thought the very first thing I did and I thought I'd missed the opportunity was buy back into Sushiswap. And very recently we'd seen Sushi go back up to $15 in a bit of a run up. I think that was talk with the NFT platform coming online last month. But I think with the Moon River and the Kusama chain stuff going on and them starting to roll out the Shoyu NFT marketplace, it's going to be more revenue to the platform. It's going to increase the value of what the staking yields can be, and that's going to keep driving up general interest. So it's kind of a fundamental factor to it. And also I think it may manage to skirt some of the DeFi stuff just because they're going to focus more on NFTs perhaps, or have that other avenue of revenue which Uniswap hasn't sorted out yet, and they're fairly anonymous. Now, normally I don't like anonymous stuff because I would say that on for NFTs. I will come to that in another video about NFTs and how I pick them. But I think we can be pretty sure that Sushi's here now. They're here, and they're not going anywhere. We've got a bit of a track record to their anonymity. It's fine, or pseudo-anonymous, as you'd call it, because they're not anonymous. They're pseudo-anonymous. Not that we know who the sushi chef is, but anyway, that's that. So that's why I've been buying into them, and they've held their value pretty well, and I think they've got a good run to go. And if they do get back up to their all-time highs, the $17, $18, $19, the realistic all-time highs, then you've got a nice return there. I'm buying Sushiswap for the long term because ultimately I think if you look at the values of things like Uniswap, imagine you have something that competes with Uniswap well and has an NFT platform that can target OpenSea. The total addressable marketplace is massive. They're moving quickly. They're moving into interoperability quickly. They're working on Polygon network. They're on Moon River. That's where they've been going to, and they're really trying to be completely interoperable. So the total addressable market, the TAM, and the availability of avenues to attack, vectors to attack for them for business generation is huge. There's a very clear reason to hold a token with that. Unlike some other projects, there's not always a clear reason for them to have a token. A good example is Polygon. Polygon barely makes any revenue, even though it does huge numbers of transactions, has huge numbers of wallets, and you've got Arbitrum, for example, who have no token. Now I know Mutual X have a token, but if you're looking at underpinned values, I think that Sushiswap is something that I was drawn to, and that's why I continue to invest in Sushiswap and why I bought more Sushiswap under $10. Next up, I've been looking at Fantom, so let me just bring up my my Fantom screen, and we can see what's going on with the world of Fantom. And here we go. So Fantom went as low as about $1, I think it was. Was it as low as $1? Let's bring up the last 3 months chart. They've been as high as just a shade under $2 or so, 191. I think intraday they went a lot higher, and very recently they went down to. Why am I struggling to work this? Let's have a look. Look at the last year. Okay, so they went as high as. They went higher than that, so I don't know why CoinMarketCap's saying that. They dipped down pretty hard, down to about $1, and they've come back up again to about 140. I think they've still got room to grow. Again, this is a project where if you look at the fully diluted market cap, and this is one of the reasons why I like Sushi's. I look at Sushi's fully diluted market cap of 2.6 billion. I look at Fantom's of 4.5 billion. Their full current market cap is 3.6 billion. There's not that much more tokens out there to dish out. So looking at full 4.5 billion market cap for a layer 1 blockchain, despite what I've just said about not always being a big fan of layer 1 blockchains, I think they're that small that there's an awful lot of room to grow in the near term. Now Fantom are investing a huge amount of money into new projects, new dApps on the ecosystem to encourage them with grants, and I think that plays to a very good story and where it can go in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. Now I know everyone wants a 10x or overnight. It may not be that, but I certainly think it's attractive, and I'm hearing it get mentioned a lot by some of the big influencers on YouTube. And Alex Becker talks about them well. George from Cryptodads Russ talks about them an awful lot. They're an attractive play, and I think if you're looking for something that has long-term ability to grow well, for me it was a bit of a no-brainer. I've been buying up that every single Friday. I'd buy a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. That's the dollar cost averaging, or the pound cost averaging, as we call over here in Her Majesty's Great Britain, United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and whole lot of territories. I buy a little bit every Friday just to try and not guess the price. You just buy it kind of across the range. And it's picked up nicely. I think my average price is about $1.15. It's $1.40 today. It's been as high as $1.50 the last couple of days. I'm buying it for the longer term. So what I do is I buy that and I stick that in the wife's Gemini account, because otherwise I'll play around with it and sell it when it gets to $2. I'm putting it there because she doesn't like me going, can you just sell that please and buy this now? So that's a phone hand. So that's that. I've been buying Fantom. I like it because, like a good army, is if you have two armies in a battle, the army that has the most resources generally wins. Not always. Look at Vietnam or the patience of the Taliban. I'm sure you'll find an exception, but in over the thousands of years, armies that are well resourced, well fed, well supplied, great logistics tend to win army fights on their stomach, as they say. And Fantom, with a lot of money to invest in the ecosystem, is going to do very well. That's probably why Solana did very well. I know Sam Bankman-Fried put an awful lot of money into every new DApp project coming out to Solana. His fingers in his pie, all his pies, but it means your kind of ecosystem can grow. It's the liquidity to help it grow. It's capital markets. If you have why has Silicon Valley done so well? It's because it's had lots of venture capital funds pouring into it. So new dApps come, or new businesses move to Silicon Valley to take advantage of that ecosystem where there's free available of venture capital. Imagine the same when it comes to blockchains. If you've got a blockchain that's not going to invest much money or any money at all, it's going to struggle against one that's going to throw money out there and throw enough mud against the wall and hope some of it sticks. And one of those that sticks could be the platform for the future. Solana throwing money out could be the reason why Audius picked Solana, and Audius could end up being the world changer when it comes to music streaming and everything else. So having that was one of the reasons why I liked it. I think it doesn't have a huge number of tokens still to dish out. The fully diluted market cap is pretty low. For me, it's a speculative punt, but it's focusing a lot on gaming and NFTs, and that's trying to be their niche, and I think that's quite exciting. So for me, it was a play on that. It's not my only play on that, but it's certainly one of them, and it's one of the reasons why I looked at it. Now, finally, let's talk about NFTs. I'd mentioned NFT projects, so a lot of stuff's been going on with it in terms of the NFTs. They've started to pick up again. We've seen Winter Bears, something that I actually got involved in about 0.09. I threw it into the Discord of Cryptodads, and it was $1 last night per floor price. Floor price being the lowest price for the lowest, cheapest NFT for that project. That bear, and I've been picking things that now I played around a little bit at first, trying to find some ideas of how it all works. And I bought a thing called Raccoon Secret Society, and it was terrible. I bought another one called Pork 1984, which I kind of like the actual story because it's about anarcho-capitalism fighting the system, and I know it's kind of cool. I like it. So, but it hasn't sold out yet. The marketing seems to hurt it. I don't know what it is. Maybe no one wants to have a pig as an avatar, and it struggled a little bit, which is annoying because it's quite a rare one, as rare as they are. As my business partner in another business calls them shinies, like the old Panini stickers. So that's one of the things I've been buying. And then I come across Cryptodads, and I saw it, and immediately I went, yes. So Cryptodads, let's just bring up the little, bring up the screen. Let's show you my screen for Cryptodads, just so you know what I'm talking about. Let's have a quick gander over it. Scroll the screen over. So you can see here, Cryptodads. It's got a massively a Bob's Burger vibe. Now I'm not here just to shill this. I'm not here just to shill this. I'm just a little bit here to shill it. Small amount, if you mind. Now I liked it straight away because it resonated with me, and I saw someone say in the Discord, everyone can relate to a dad. There's a lot of women that own Cryptodads. There was some social media person who's like, oh, this is misogynistic. There's loads of women who own Cryptodads. In fact, a few women put that guy in his place. And they're doing a crypto mums as well, so they're trying to do a whole family. You just got to start. You can't start with with all of them. So they're going to bring out crypto mums. There's going to be crypto toddlers. The whole point being behind it was, it's very cliche to say create a great community, but I think it's a pretty cool avatar profile picture project. But they're bringing out a game called a lawnmower racing game. We play to earn, potentially of earning Cryptodad or CDAD tokens. There's a lot going on there, and it's more about building a brand. So I guess the thing is at the moment is, you don't really know truly what it is at the moment, but it's got a lot of potential. They're doing, the merch is kind of cool. Percentage of the sales of the merch goes into the community wallet, and I think of all of the projects I've seen, this is one of the ones that stands out to me as the blockchain lawnmower racing game. It's one of the ones that's, I'm trying to find some of the merch. So you can see the merch here. The merch is pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool brand opportunity. I think, in truth, you look at a lot of these projects and it just makes sense. Very, very similar, very inspired very much by the Bob's Burgers theme. The founders are doxed. That means we know exactly who they are, which is pretty cool when it comes to a couple of guys who are new to the industry or new to NFT projects. We know they are. There is 3 types of ways that you can be known, I think, within the industry. You've got docs, that means we know who they are, they put their face to their persona. Pseudo-anonymous, when they perhaps go by a nickname, maybe Plan B, for example, is pseudo-anonymous. And then you've got anonymous. Anonymous means you've got no idea who they are. Now, pseudo-anonymous can be okay. Plan B has a very, very well-established persona of being, incognito, but a massive Twitter following. He probably wouldn't want to lose that. So if Plan B, despite being pseudo-anonymous, we don't know who he is, but we know the persona, if he was to put his name to something that wasn't credible, he could lose everything that he's built up as a credible source. So it can be good to be pseudo-anonymous, or can be fine to be pseudo-anonymous. Anyway, these guys put their name to things. It's a cool brand. I can see this going somewhere, and that for me was worth the punt. It was worth more a punt than just buying it for a JPEG. So one of the things I think a lot of people don't fully understand within the NFT space is they kind of don't necessarily get what they're buying. Now, the way I look at it is this: if you've got let's say you've got 10,000 tokens, forget a picture, just 10,000 pieces of paper, it's a bit of paper, I'll tear it off, 10,000 slips, okay, and they are guaranteed there's only 10,000 of those particular ones, and they give you access to something, or they give you 1/10,000th of something. Now let's say we're going to mint these, which means you're going to create them when you first get them from the website, the mint as it's called. 10,000, let's say $100, right? That's $1 million. It's $1 million. Okay, so I guess the question is $100 right now is 0.03 ETH, I think it is. I think it's 0.03 ETH, 0.03 ETH as we speak. If that project, if that community of 10,000 has a cool branding, a cool artwork that's very merchandisable, or something could be done with it, I guess the question is do you think the value of that entire concept and that thing is worth more than $1 million? And if it is, then it's worth more than 0.03 ETH per token. That's kind of how I want you to think about these, or I don't care if you want to think about them. That's one way you can think about them. So if you've got really cool branding that has the potential to be made into a cool cartoon, or into cool artwork, or cool clothing gear, or cool merch that has broad appeal, not just within the community, then you've got to ask yourself could it be something? Could it be worth more? Now I think a lot of men, for example, who are dads, who are into crypto, probably could appeal to the Cryptodads thing. Might not be able to afford a Cryptodad NFT. Minimum price is about $4,000. But there is that value, that merchandising appeal, that you could expand the name of the network to beyond just token holders. And if a share of those profits go into the community wallet, the shared wallet, then the business, I suppose, essentially can have an underlying value of more than 0.03 of $1 million. Now let's think, could it become worth $10 million? Could it become worth $100 million? And so on and so forth. And of course, there is the other aspect of crypto tokens. There is obviously the speculation, or the NFT tokens. There's the speculation game. So there's a number of different angles. Cryptodads, I bought this pre-reveal. That means I hadn't actually seen what it was yet. I like my one. A suited guy with a bow tie. Looks very smart. Looks very like a business guy. Looks like a guy. When we used to work in the city, used to have City of London dinners. You'd have them in the summer generally, and you'd have to wear a tuxedo, or as you call it in America, or a dinner suit, as we call it in the UK. And so I saw that, and it was like, yes, that man looks like a tokenomist. So that's that. So that's what I've been involved with. The Discord's amazing. So, and it sounds silly, but this is one of the other ways you can look at a project first and go, do I think because you don't know the founders of these projects very often. You've got no idea who they are. You don't know what their background is, or their pedigree, or their ability to execute. And one of the key things that you should always be doing when it comes to making an investment in a stock, for example, or even a fund, is who's running it, who's running the show. Can you trust them to run the show? Could they do a better job than you? Could you do a better job than them? If you could do a better job than them, why would you be investing in it? So there's a number of these things. You have to know who's running the show, because it has a really big impact. If I got in a Formula 1 racing car, I guarantee you I wouldn't win the British Grand Prix, because I'm not the great driver for it. Put Lewis Hamilton in there, smash it all day long, because he's a good driver for it. You trust him to do that. You don't trust me to do that. I drive at 30 miles an hour, and even then I'll be like, oh, hang on, slow down a little bit. So what do I look at, and what kind of things can you look at? Well, here's one thing. I'm going to show you the Discord for Cryptodads. So I apologise, Cryptodads, if I'm not allowed to do this, but I want to show this, and I want to show a counter one as well. So you're going to see Cryptodads who were minted at 0.05, 0.07. Floor prices floating between 1.25 and 1.35. Yeah, look, it's not CryptoPunks 10 ETH or 100 ETH or whatever, CyberKongs. That's a pretty good return on your investment. It's a pretty solid price. It's been staying at that level for a while now. And I'm going to show you one that hasn't got anywhere. And I think you can see the difference. So I'm going to bring up Discord and I'm going to slide that across. And let's jump into the Discord. So you've got here's the Discord. Now this is Cryptodads. This is the cave. This is a free for all. Anyone can get into this and be in the cave. You can only get to the holder chat if you hold a Cryptodad. There's mine down there. But you can see just here. Let's have a look at this. You've got information, a lot of information here, giveaways, the main stuff, ideas, security, lots of things about helping scammers out, educational, how to do NFTs, NFT discussion, toolbox tips. Just some general tools, rarity sniper. So there's rarity levels of different NFTs. Sharfy Dad, full discussion, just generally about Cryptodads, topics, dad support dads, mental health awareness. People have been talking to people on there about having issues in life. I actually had tears in my eyes one evening reading something in there. Dad jokes, food and barbecue tips, art, outdoors, story time, cave show off. We've got sports, football, MMA. I've been in there talking about MMA during MMA events, fitness ones, trading, miscellaneous, audio channels. It's pretty in depth, okay? This is a community that is actually got some depth to it. Now let's have a look at Raccoon. Not to knock Raccoon to Secret Society, but I mean, I personally think the whole thing was run poorly. And look what they've got: marketplace, want to buy, want to sell, other stuff. That's it. Comic book, bit of stuff here, dead zone, win. It's just. It screams what you call a rug pull. I'm sure it's not a rug pull. It feels like it, but that's the difference. So you can look at those two and you can go, I wonder which is the better team behind it. Which is the ones that, and then you've also got the other aspect of one's doxed, one's not. So one is a team who are put their face to it, and they produce a very clear roadmap in the background beforehand. They'd also listed themselves on things like Rarity Sniper beforehand, so that was up and coming. They'd paid their money, invested their money to be on those upcoming listings, and the other was produce that stuff. And the whole thing went to shit as well with the Raccoon Secret Society NFT drop. Fortunately, it didn't cost a lot of money for me, but it was still something that, you know, it was, to be fair, it was a good exercise because I've become a lot more prudent with the ones I pick now, kind of, unless you get. But says the guy with loads of random pugs in his portfolio. So it's kind of putting those all things together and you can get a picture. I look at things like Twitter as well. I do have a look at the Twitter followings before. If I do look at, so one way you might go is how do you spot up and coming NFT projects? I have a look at Rarity Sniper for rarity.tools, and I have a look at for what ones are coming up soon, and I'll look at the Twitter, and then I'll grab the Twitter handle and I'll stick it into a number of different tools that are free that allow you to tell whether or not the account has got fake followers or real followers, and that gives you an indication. Jump on the Discord, have a look at the communication. Do you see articulate, intelligent people having a chat, helping one another, or do you just see win Lambo? You can very quickly get an idea of the different communities. I'm waiting for my son just to come through the door and bang, more biscuits. 26. Sorry, he's 3. But that's how I pick NFT projects. There's a lot more to it than that. I think what else have I been getting involved in as well? And so I also, one of the things I liked about the Cryptodads was the fact they had the lawnmower, the play to earn. I thought there was that utility feature. It was more than just a JPEG. I think it's an interesting project. I'm not buying it just because it's got crypto mums coming out. I think a lot of people probably buy these projects and go, oh, it's got a mum drop soon. It's going to be worth more. But all it means is just kind of expands the network. I think it's kind of cool though, the crypto mums thing. The way I looked at it as well was one other angle, and this is something. So I spoke to you about the valuation of the network. How much is the network worth? If you had a female-only project, so let's say you were a female in business and you were trying to grow your business and you've got a really female-focused product, and there was a community of 5,000 tokens, NFT tokens, a female-led NFT project like Miss Crypto Club or something, or others are available. I have Miss Crypto Club. Sure. I like the animation. I like the artwork. So let's just say you've got 5,000 women, men, but 5,000 people who like women-led projects in a community, and you have a female-led business that has a very female-focused product. Wouldn't you like to be in that community where you're kind of discussing things, getting ideas and testing things. You've got a community that's willingly engaging. The beauty of these NFT projects is people do want to build community. They do want to be part of a community. I said something to someone the other day. We don't have hobbies anymore, and we do, but we don't like we used to when we were kids. We don't join clubs anymore. We don't find people, and I think NFTs might be helping people find partners and relationships and friends like they never had for a while. And certainly gaming can do that. But I definitely think NFTs bring this whole new steroid pump to making friends in the wider metaverse. So if you've got a project that would benefit from being in a specific demographic community, then an NFT is a great thing, isn't it? And the price you pay for the NFT is the price for admission to that club. Forget about the artwork. Forget about the ups and downs. Once you're in, you're in. I was a member of a private members club in London called Home House, and I would pay £150, £160 a month. That's about $250 in old money, and I did it for many, many years. And so over a number of years, it was £5, £10, £15,000. Okay, well that's 5 ETH. Okay, that's 2 pudgy penguins. So would I rather have 2 pudgy penguins or the membership Home House? Well, Home House lets me go to the Home House premises, and that's kind of cool. It's a bit of a flex, but it's a flex one-off when I'm in London. But actually being in a community of people that have had the capacity and the propensity and the temerity to hold something through the ups and downs till it skyrocketed. They put risk capital into it. You've almost got a community of willing, speculative, punty, open-minded investors who are in the most open-minded sector of the whole world right now. Again, how much is access to that community for? I worked in stocks and shares and particularly focused on small cap startup companies as well for a period of time. And I laugh because that was a really spanky sector. That's why I'm no longer a stockbroker. I'm not allowed to be. That's another story for another day. That's why I'm the real tokenomist and not my name. Anyway, where am I going with this? Doxing myself. I am off the beaten track. Right. People would pay me lots of money to present their products or their companies to floors of investors. People pay corporate financiers lots of money to put together a glossy memorandum to present around to investors. People spend awful lots of money going around to investors to try and get an element of money before perhaps crowdfunding platforms are out. In fact, even crowdfunding platforms are hoops to jump through. Instead, now you go, right, I'm going to set up a decentralized autonomous organization or an NFT-based project. I'm going to sell NFTs. That money from the NFT is going to go in a community wallet, and we're going to invest in something communally. It's going to be decentralized because otherwise I'm going to be done for running security. This is the project, guys. Who wants to see the pitch deck? Yes. You'll have thousands of people to speak to. You send it round, and you've immediately probably got together a pool of people who would invest money. That is shortcutting the circuits, shortcutting the route of getting capital. So that's a value of the networks. Not value for everyone, value for someone. Next up, I'm going to put this video into the Cryptodads community, and I'm going to have more people than I would normally get watch it, because I'm leveraging the value that I'm part of a community. I am in the Cryptodads community. I don't think I probably would ever want to sell my Cryptodad. I think I've actually got it. I've got a load of them set as listed for sale. I've gradually been going through and just not Cryptodads. I mean other tokens, because there is no limit sell in 10 years time. I've got my Winter Bear set for 33 ETH because one day it might go crazy, and if I'm not around, I want to make sure I capture it. That's my limit sell order. But in particular, Cryptodad, I don't want to sell it because I think being part of this community has a value long term, and how much is that worth to me? So when I bought that one, I bought it pre-reveal, I bought it at half an ETH, and I just thought, look, you know what was it, $1,500, £1,000? If I'm in the community for a year, it's less money than a private members club, but it's a private members club that has the potential to grow a Twitter following, has the potential to grow a brand, has the potential to teach me new tricks and tips within the NFT space. It has that value, and I think people need to look beyond just a JPEG and right click and save. You can right click and save, but you can't get into the holders chat, and I think that's something to look at. So I know I've been talking a lot about Cryptodads. I'm a massive advocate for them. I don't necessarily buy into a project just because of the community. I just think it's very good to look at. Other ones I've been buying into was Winter Bears. I saw it particularly cheap. I looked at it and just thought, yeah, that's cute. So I did buy that just on the basis that it looked cute, but it was cheap. Would I have seen it? Would I have bought it at 1 ETH, for example, as it is now, and seen it going, oh, that's cute, I'm going to buy that? Probably not. But I would buy it at a low level. I think there's an amount people are willing to spend. which is why I'm going to just show you these now, these little bad boys, PugFrens. Let's get screen sharing, let's get that one up, and I'm going to just fade back across. Let's get out of Metaverse. Let's go across to my profile. So, I mean, look, if you've been on crypto Twitter, you'll know Friends, GM, the Friends hat. I think a lot of people who are investing in cryptocurrency right now are millennials and Gen Z. Millennials will obviously know this hat very easily, a trucker's hat with Friends on it, but in Friends, the Bitcoin bubble just gives it that kind of extra element, or the Ethereum bubble. And I just thought, you know what, it's worth it. So I bought this one at 0.07, 0.049. I'm trying to sell one to cover the cost of all of them, because even though it's a very, very small amount, I think it's really important to keep a prudent strategy anyway. My ultimate goal is to sell one to cover the cost of all of them in anything I do, really. You know, I don't pretend I'm a mega whale. I just have probably a bit more to spend than others. What else? Bastard penguins I've been looking at. All of these except for the PugFrens, because PugFrens haven't really announced it yet. Look, they're not verified yet. They haven't got their roadmap full out, or their full digital app out yet. There's a few things that are coming, and for me it was just cheap. It was at 0.049, so got a bit of fluff in my mouth. It's cheap. It's a punt. It's a cute, cheap punt. Thick, dark line pens, and I think people would spend up to 0.19 for one of these, and that would mean a quick, you know, triple money you flip. You do that on a whole bunch of them, you're making some good money. So that's the reason why I bought that one, just because there's nothing else than that. It was quite cute, and I thought it was cuter than some others. Space Boys, again, I just think it's kind of funny. Again, it was cheap. I don't mind buying some of these cheap ones. I buy lots of them and spread it out. I know some people have the approach that they won't, they don't sort of diversify too much, because you lose the impact of one. But I take the hedge funds approach, which is you pick 10 projects, one of them's going to moon to the ends of the universe, to the alt cloud, and 8 are going to just die, and 1 will probably get your money back. And you kind of have to take that approach, because these do absolutely moon. But there's so many projects, it's hard to know which one's going to moon. For me, Winter Bears is doing fantastic. Cryptodads in profit. Don't want to sell my Cryptodads. I've got a couple that will. Tropical Turtles is doing very well, but I think it's a very speculative space. There's a lot that I still need to learn. It's very strange for me to be even considering them, given how I used to think about them. But as I started to look at the value add of the community aspect, I can see there's real value and real benefit there. And that's it, really. I hope this has been not too boring to listen to. Obviously, I've been trying to work out how to do certain things and learning it so I can be a bit slicker. Don't forget, if you want to stick around or want to see more of me, here is my you can find me on Twitter, where I talk about all sorts of crap. You can just find me on Twitter at RealTokenomist, and where I just rinse some stupid people and highlight what I'm doing for the day. Check me out, hit the subscribe button, and that's about it, really. So I hope, any questions, hit them in the bottom. If you've got anything you want me to cover, please do. I think this is going to be easier. One of the things I started to do was do videos on, I did a video on a Discord argument I had with Lucky Sloth's project lead, partly because it was a female-led project and it was a him. I didn't really work out how that worked. It struck me as a bit of an odd project with some poor leadership. I asked what I thought were actually very fair and honest questions about the roadmap being really unambitious, quite weak, and there was no actual meat on the bones. And I was treated like a hater of Scientology or something within the Scientology community. Not that they're Scientologists. It could be. And then I did a video, and then about a day later, they've already had a falling out, and the whole thing's collapsed. So you kind of get caught out by the speed of movement, so stream stuff works a bit better. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Check me out on Twitter. It's at RealTokenomist. It's down here. I don't know why I showed you a card when it's already been there the whole damn time. If you also like Sushiswap, Fantom, and Cryptodads, give us a like, give us a follow. Let's get those numbers up. Anyway, ta-da.